Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is The Mandalorian, Season 1, Episode 1, Chapter 1. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully everyone got Disney Plus up and running there. I know there's been some problems. It's, all kinds of stuff that's going on there. So I'm going to get some business out of the way first. If you like what you see here, hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe, as Penn just put up there. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're still on the fence about joining up, you're going to see the very end of this video. Right up here, there's going to be a video that pops up. That is from all the stuff you've been watching. YouTube takes the algorithm of all that and matches it as best as possible to one of my videos in my library and pops it up there just for you. Up here is going to be what was that? His Dark Materials from last night. That's what'll be up here at the end of the video. I also have a Twitter page, I have an Instagram, and I have a Patreon page, but I don't have a tier set up as of yet. That will happen at the end of this year, beginning of next year. Also, if you want to know when I'm on live again next, you can hit the bell down below here. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. If you really want to know, go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com. You'll see my schedule up there. I change it out every week. And I also post that blah, 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 blah. I also post that on my Facebook page. There's also a Facebook group page for those of you who want to post stuff and talk amongst yourselves. So there we go. All right. So let's get this puppy started, huh? Spoiler alert. I am going to spoil the show of the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch the episode. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the brand new paddle. Yes. Joe, you're too negative, man. So I'm calling this guy the Mando with no name, is what he is. He is the Mando with no name. So a Mando walks into a bar. Stop me if you've heard this one before. A Mando walks into a bar. So actually, this Mando walks into a bar, and there's a guy who's being harassed, a bean that's being harassed by some bullies, and they're stealing his shit and whatnot. And they turn their attention to Mando when he walks in, and for spilling his drink and all this stuff. So they want they want their money and all that stuff, and they see that he's wearing some Beskar steel, which is Mandalorian steel, and of course they're gonna take it from him. And he beats the shit out of these guys. In fact, he kills one of them by using this. There's a round door that has an iris on it, and he shoots the iris when the guy is halfway through, and it cuts him in half. So yeah, he is not not really putting up with any of their shit. And he goes over to the guy that was being harassed and shows that he's actually wanted for a bounty. Yeah. So he takes him, and he's taking him out to the yard where his ship is on this ice planet. And as they're going out there, the driver, so he doesn't like droids. Mando does not like droids, so he will not let a droid drive him out there. And he ends up with an actual humanoid that's driving the land speeder, and he's looking through his glasses, and the bounty says, you know what he's looking for, right? He's looking for Ravneks and a Ravenek, and we don't know what those things are. So he gets him out to the ship, pays for the taxi, and the guy who's driving the speeder says, "Hey, get off the ice. The Ravneks could be here any moment." And he takes off, and what happens? He gets eaten by a Ravnek. And by the way, that's Brian Posehn, who's a comedian and a writer and a geek of himself there, and he ends up getting eaten, is what happens. So they get on board the ship, and as they're taking off, one of these Raveneks grabs on. It looks like a giant walrus with scales on it and some armor, and Mando just goes down there and shocks it on the tooth there, and it lets go, and he takes off. So the bounty's like, you know what? I need to go to the bathroom. Can I go to the bathroom? And Mando doesn't say yes or no either way. So he goes down to go search around. He's looking for a way out, pretty much. And what does he find instead? He finds out a whole bunch of bodies that are frozen in carbonite that are just stacked up there. And he turns, and Mando's right behind him. Excuse me. Excuse me. Wow, that was just kind of weird. And pushes him into a carbonite freezing chamber and freezes him. And that's what it is. So Mando lands on another planet, and this is where he's collecting all his bounties. And we see he's got all these tags and pucks of all his bounties. And he goes over to Grief Karga, who is played by Carl Weathers. Yeah. And he doesn't mention anything about any kind of soup or any kind of stew that he can make. But he does say, he gives him Imperial credits. And Mando's like, I don't want Imperial credits, man. The Empire's dead. So this takes place 7 years after Return of the Jedi, kind of roughly around 7 years after the Return of the Jedi, because it actually takes place 11. They say 11 years after the Battle of Yavin, which so that's the time frame roughly is where we're at. The Empire is gone now at this point. The New Order hasn't fully gotten their shit together at the moment. So yeah. So Grief says, you know what? I don't have that kind of money, but I do have half in calamari flan. And he's like, all right, I'll take it. And he says, what other bounties do you have? So he's Grief is getting all these bounties out. And he goes, I'll take them all. And he goes, whoa, wait a minute. He goes, I need to leave something for the other people in the guild too. And he says, well, what's your highest bounty? He says, oh, it's 5,000 credits. Like, shit, man, that's not going to fill up my gas tank. What else you got, kind of thing? You have anything bigger? And he says, well, I got something that's off the grid kind of thing. There's no puck to it. It's basically a face-to-face thing. And so he gives him a chit and tells him to go over and see this other guy. So Mondo, of course, goes over to this other dude. He has to show him the chit, gets in, and this guy is surrounded by stormtroopers. And he's just known as the Client, is what he's called. And he says, this other kind of really freaked out kind of dude, a little on edge kind of dude, Dr. Pershing comes in, and Mando draws both of his blasters. All the stormtroopers draw their blasters, and he's basically saying, hey, you know what? Just calm down, man. And he gets a stand. The Client gets the stormtroopers to lower their weapons. He goes, take a seat. He goes, let's talk about this a little bit. And he goes, so this bounty has been around for like 50 years. We only have a a tracker that's can get you part of the way there, and then we also have a part of a code that'll get you the other part of the way there. But it's going to pay a lot, is what he tells them once you get there. And so he agrees to do it. He also gives him some Beskar steel, and he says, "Hey, this is the down payment. There's some Beskar steel, and I've got a whole other shipload of it waiting for you if you get that thing to me." He goes, "If you get it to me alive, you get the entire amount. It goes down quite a bit if the bounty comes back otherwise," as he says. And Dr. Pershing kind of takes a little affront to it because he wants the thing alive, whatever this bounty is. Yeah. And so Mando goes over to an armory that's bearing the Mandalorian symbol. And the other thing too, the Client actually mentioned, he says, Beskar belongs back to the Mandalorians, don't you think? It's always good when the natural order of things comes back around. And people have said it's kind of creepy because Werner Herzog is playing the Client. He's got a German accent. And of course, he's talking about reunifying the Empire and all that kind of stuff. And, German accents, reunifying some sinister, evil shit, I didn't see it myself. I love Werner Herzog, by the way. He's a great actor and a great director and just a funny fucking dude if you ever get a chance to watch some of the stuff that he does. But anyway, I digress. He goes over to the armory bearing the Mandalorian symbol, meets the armorer, who is a female, by the way. And she says, hey, they sit down. He gives her the calamari flan and the Beskar steel. And she goes, I know this. This was actually taken during the Great Purge. And it belongs back in the tribe. And she goes, you know what? For this, A pauldron is in order. And has your signet been revealed yet? And he goes, no, not yet. She's like, all right, good. So we don't know who he is. He's not revealing it. She knows who he is, obviously. And he's getting a piece of armor in response for bringing back some Beskar steel. So he ends up, she forges him a new shoulder plate and says the excess will serve to sponsor many more foundlings. And he goes, yeah, that's right. He goes, I was a foundling. That's good to hear. She goes, yes, I know, kind of thing. So, and then we see flashbacks of him as a kid getting carried by his parents as there's a big firefight going on. There's lasers flying everywhere, and they put him in a ship and seal him in. And that's where we leave off with him on that. So that's all we get for his backstory, really, kind of. So go off to another planet in search of a new bounty, and he gets out and he's got the tracker out there, and he's it's beeping, and he's looking around. He sees some blurg out there, these giant creatures, and he gets a little distracted. And one of the blurgs actually takes him down. He tries to blast it with his flamethrower, but the thing dodges it and then just bites his arm and starts throwing him around. He's punching it and everything, and suddenly it gets taken down by a electrified dart. And another one comes running towards him as his arm is still trapped inside the other blurg, and that one gets taken down by another dart. And that's when we see Kuel, who is a God. Now I'm just blanking on the name of these guys. God. But anyway, it's voiced by Nick Nolte. So, and he decides to help. He goes, "Are you a bounty hunter?" And he says, "Yeah." He goes, "I'll help you. I have spoken." That's what he says. So, an Ugnaught. There we go. He's an Ugnaught. Had to think about that for a second. Had to get my mind working there. Yes. And so Kuel says that many have come before him and for the same bounty. And he goes, he's helped them all. And Mando's like, well, fuck that. I don't want you helping me. And he goes, you're going to want my help. Trust me. He goes, well, what's your fee? He says, half. And he goes, well, half of the bounty is a lot. And he goes, no, no, no. Half of the blurg that you've captured. And he goes, well, you can have all of them. And he goes, nope. You need one to ride because where we're going to, you're going to need a blurg to get there, kind of thing. So he goes, but first, you're going to have to learn how to ride a blurg. And so we get a comical, busting a Bronco blurg. And he gets thrown off a couple of times. And he, of course, just wants a speeder. And he goes, well, and Kuel says, well, what about your Mandalorian, forebearers and all that stuff? Remember when they rode the such and such? Basically, he's talking about, all these stories. And so Mando gets inspired and he tames the blurg and he's able to ride it. I always thought I had a Futurama flashback, honestly, with the Bugaloo, taming the Bugaloo and learning to ride them. I don't know why it just suddenly came to mind. Mondo, in the meantime, he gets, they ride across the desert and get to this compound. He's above it and he can see it. He's looking down on it. He sees guards everywhere. I mean, just everywhere. And he's like, shit. And then he sees the guards are distracted by something, and he looks down and he sees it's a a bounty droid. In fact, it's IG-11, who is cousin, I guess, to IG-88. And IG-11 comes in stating that according to bounty regulations, they should bring out the bounty right now, and no one will get hurt. And yeah, he ends up. Of course, they're not gonna give into that. So IG-88 or IG-11 just starts blasting the shit out of him. And yes, it's voiced by Taika Waititi. Yes. And of course, after these guys run inside, they shut the blaster doors, and Mando comes down and tries to introduce himself to IG-11. IG-11 shoots him. He goes, whoa, 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 wait. Because I'm with the guild. We're on the same mission. And IG-11's like, no. I have you give me your chit because everything's good. He goes, I've got this, I've got the bounty. And Mando tells him, I don't see anything in your hands as of yet. How about we work together? And IG-11's like, all right, that's acceptable. We can work together and get this. And just as they agree to do that, that's when the doors open up and the Niktos come out and they are just firing at them. And they are just, Mando and IG-11 are just killing guys left and right, left and right. And they finally get pinned down at one point, and you know, Mando's like, okay, cover me. I'm gonna try and open the door. So he's trying to hotwire the door. That doesn't work. And he's getting shot at like a lot. And he goes back, he goes, shit, we're pinned down. And IG-11's like, okay, I'm gonna initiate the self-destruct sequence. That's what I'm built for. And Mando's like, no, 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 no. Don't self-destruct. We'll get the hell out of this thing. So they're trying to get out of it, and they try shooting it a little bit more, and of course they get pinned again. And IG-11's like, I'm gonna use my self-destruct sequence again. He's like, fuck, just stand down, man. In fact, why don't you go out there and cover me? Because by now the Niktos have brought out this gigantic heavy gun, and they are just blowing the shit out of this this wall they're hiding behind, this post. So IG-11 goes out, gets shot, gets taken down, and Mando uses his little whip arm, I guess you could say, and grabs the heavy gun, which is on a anti-grav unit, and he turns it around and he gets on it and just starts blowing the shit out of everybody as he's going around in a circle. I thought it would have been funny if it had just kind of really gone really slow and he was just shooting at them and they were, but it worked better this way. So yeah, he kills everybody, and IG-11's okay. The blast missed his circuitry, his main circuitry, I guess you could say. The shoulder piece is a what was it called again? I have to take a look now if that's what you're wondering on. Yeah, it is called a pauldron is what it's called. A pauldron. Yes, thank you. So they end up saying, okay, well, how are we going to get the door open? And of course, they have the heavy blaster. So they use the heavy blaster to shoot the door open. They take out the remaining guard that's in there, and they have the tracker. They both have a tracker, and they end up finding this round pod. And Mando opens it up, and we see a baby. And it's a baby Yoda, as a matter of fact. A Yoda's race, anyway. We don't know what race Yoda is. Yoda or Yaddle. We don't know what they are. That's why I'm calling him a tiny Yoda, because we've never gotten an official species name of these aliens. And Mando's like, well, I thought this was supposed to be 50 years old. And IG-11 says, some species age slower than others. And he goes, this one could live for centuries, of course. And he goes, too bad, we'll never know. And he goes to raise the gun, and Mando's like, no, 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 wait. And he goes, and IG-11 says, sorry, man, but my my bounty says that I need to kill this thing. And yes, it's kind of interesting that they have different bounties. So as IG-11 goes to raise its gun again, we see a flash of light. We hear a laser fire go off, and IG-11 goes down with a hole through his head, or where his head would be, I guess you could say. And he has taken out IG-11, and Mando is left with a baby Yoda in a floating little bassinet, if you will. And yeah, so it was a little bit weird. They had different bounties. So IG-11's was to kill it, and Mando's was to bring it in alive, preferably. But if something else happened to it, that would be okay as well. And it wasn't a riding flub, Apple Crow. So there's a reason for it. And we're going to see later on. I actually know a few things because, it was spoiled by the fucking fuckers on the internet, as usual. So there we go. I'm not going to spoil it for you because it's not worth it. Yes, they were hired by different people, Movie Fanobi. So as a matter of fact, IG-11 mentions who he was hired by. He actually says a title, and I can't remember what the title is at the moment. Whereas Mando was hired by somebody else. Yeah. No, I'm not going to spoil it because it's something that's a future episode. I don't want to spoil it for other people. quite honestly, there are a lot of people like me that don't want to get spoiled, by the next episode, by assholes who spread shit on the internet. It's I want to be surprised when I watch it for the first time. So how was this episode? I watched it last night. So last night, I kind of figured it was going to drop early. I figured that Disney Plus was going to come on at like 9 p.m. my time. I was right. So I watched it. Didn't take any notes because I wanted to watch it again for the second time and then take notes. First time around, I think because I was kind of jazzed about seeing it, it felt kind of a letdown a bit. It was a bit slow, and I understand they're doing a slow burn on this, but yeah, it felt kind of slow. The second time around, I knew where the beats were and all that kind of stuff, so it moved a little bit faster for me. But at the same time, there are some things that were a little bit clunky in the works. And I want to say it's just Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni directed the episode. John Favreau wrote the episode, and I want to say that it's Dave Filoni's first time directing live action. That is the reason why we're having a little bit of that clunkiness, if you will. But other than that, it wasn't bad. It's a good start. Apple Crow says, I felt the opening bar fight was a bit too funny, but it built up. I actually like the opening bar fight, to tell you the truth. For me, there's a few things, like I said, when I was doing my recap here, that struck me as funny was the team. We didn't need the taming of the blurg, quite honestly. And we didn't need the slow motion, heavy cannon that's rotating around. That was just kind of weird. But yeah, it more so on the blurg. I didn't like the blurg scene, but yeah. All they need is to take old Western scripts. Yeah, that's pretty much what they're doing, Joe. That is exactly what they're doing. Yeah, exactly. Pen Tiny Yoda in my class. Tiny Yoda. Now I'm not going to continue that rhyme because it's just not going to be happening. Those green things that Kenner sells. Yeah, spaghetti Western. More like calamari Western. See what I did there? Yeah. And I'm wondering if Tiny Yoda might be the offspring of Yoda and Yaddle. Hmm? They're saying 50 years. That's when Yoda and Yaddle were around. They're the only two that we've ever seen of their kind around. Maybe they got a little bit busy, even though they're supposed to remain celibate as Jedis. But when has that stopped any of these fucking Jedis from fucking around? Really? You know? Are we sure the droid bounty hunter would obey Mando so easily and not self-destruct? Well, he said I had another idea, is what he kept saying. Yeah. Yes, Yoda and Yaddle did the yes. That's a good one. That's a good one, Apple Crow. Yoda and Yaddle did the Yasti. Oh, yeah. Feel me now, do you? Uh, oh man, there's just so much wrong with any of that shit. I all of a sudden I started thinking of Dave Chappelle. Uh, yeah, some bad stuff. Mandalorian lore. He contributed some armor metal. Mentioned his sigil was not revealed yet. Yes, that is it. I did say that during the recap. That's why I actually had to read that part, because there was a lot of lore that was just kind of thrown in there. We don't know how many Mandalorian clans are left. We don't know how many Mandalorians are left at this point, because according to Star Wars Rebels, isn't the Mandalorian home planet kind of blown up, if you will, or not blown up, but fractured because of the war? There was a war between the clans, and they fractured it, if I remember correctly, the planet. So it killed a shitload of people, from what I understand. Shitload of Mandalorians. Yeah. And that could have been the Great Purge, as the armorer was talking about. Apple Crust, I didn't like the music, but I also felt it was perfect because it was old 70s, 80s adventure movie style track. Yeah, I was okay with the music. It was okay for me on that. Oh, and by the way, see if you can spot the Yoda in the background that I've got here. It's going to be hard to find, but I know where he is. But there is a Yoda someplace around here. I'm probably going to have to get some more Star Wars figures and clean up some of these areas over here and, you know, change some stuff out. Just for shits and giggles. Yeah. So is the Mandalorian, is he Boba Fett? That's my guess, Joe Greer. Is that yes, he is Boba Fett, that he's crawled out of the Sarlacc pit and he's starting all over again. That's what I'm thinking. But I can't be sure of that. Yeah. Yeah. That's the other theory that's roaming around out there, is that it's Boba Fett. That's the reason why we don't have a name on him yet. That's why I'm calling him the Mando with no name. It seems to fit. Yoda is next to Batman. No, he's not. Oh, well, yes, he is. Yes, he is. I take that back. I thought you were talking about the other Batman that's over here. But yes, you're right. He is near a Batman. Rogue One line is marked down on Amazon and CVS stores. Oh, okay. That's fine. I feel like Boba wouldn't have those flashbacks though. He might have. I mean, you know, he lost his original self early on. Yeah. It is a small Yoda, yes. But judge him not by his size. You walked into that one, man. You really did. Judge me by my size to you. There you go. That's my Yoda. Yeah. Or he could have the black lightsaber. Sabine has that actually. Her mom has it. Yeah. Have I watched Battle Angel Alita, the movie? I have seen it, Joe Greer. It was a great middle of a movie. It had no beginning, it had no end, but hey, it was a interesting middle of a movie with Joe Norton. Is that his name? Yeah, Norton, just Ed Norton. Excuse me, Ed Norton, just kind of hanging over looking over the balcony railing every now and then, sneering. It was pretty shitty. It's a waste of an actor. Actually, that movie wasted a lot of actors, to tell you the truth. Jimmy Olsen's Blues. It just makes me feel how bad the last two Star Wars movies. Yeah, I know. That's the other thing too. Is even though this wasn't like bombastic, in your face kind of Star Wars, this was still better than what we got in the last couple of movies. I'm sorry to say. Yeah. I know a lot of people love the movies, the new movies. Yes, I don't want to hear it. It's great. I'm glad you like the new movies. I don't. So I'm not here to argue about it. I'm here talking about the Mandalorian on Disney Plus. So good night, Fanobi. If you're going to clean up, what will you do with all those killed Kenny spacemen? No, the spacemen will remain. Some of the other stuff, I like changing stuff out, is what I'll do. They killed Han. This was made by people who care about Star Wars. Yeah. There's a great interview with Werner Herzog on, I want to say it's Forbes. It's either Forbes or Variety. I can't remember which one it is. And he talks about why he took the role, because he's never seen a Star Wars movie. He's never ever seen a Star Wars movie. And Jon Favreau sat him down and basically explained to him what he was going to do. And he was like, all right, cool. And he saw a kindred spirit in Jon Favreau. And that's why I was like, Fuck yeah, man. I mean, if you can sit down with someone who has no idea what this world is that they're going to be in, and just say, "Hey, here's your character. Here's what it's going to be," and talk an excellent actor and a director and an editor. This man has done pretty much everything, and a writer as well. Into being in his movie. Who is? I mean, this guy is 85 now, I believe, is what he is. Uh, oh, I would love to see Werner Herzog do a Star Wars movie. Yes, I would love to see him direct an episode or a couple of episodes. That would just be awesome. I would love to see him write it too, to tell you the truth. He does some great writing. He's working on a another documentary right now, as a matter of fact. His last one was about volcanoes, which is on Netflix right now. And his new one is, I can't remember what he said it's on, but he's working on one right now. If you've never seen one of his documentaries, watch it. That's what he's known for. And he does voiceovers on things. That's his voice is that awesome, quite honestly. Pen Farm Girl says Phenobia had a surprise package waiting on me when I got home from work. I'm honored to have such an illustrious vessel. Uh-oh. Did he get you one of the Dr. Manhattan specials? Or I'm not gonna say anything. I recognize him from Rick. That's right, he was in Rick and Morty. He voiced something in Rick and Morty as well. uh, and by the way, that Rick and Morty season premiere is fucking funny. The whole fascism thing with Rick running away, going, "When the hell did this become the new normal?" And I was cracking up. I was dying. That just kind of got me. Joker the Third says, "Did he do one on the guy from the 1970s or 1980s who always played a villain with gray hair?" I think he did play a villain in the 1970s. Yes. In a movie. I can't remember which one it is. They talk about it in that same article. Just briefly mention it. Uh, so yes, like I said, he's a great, awesome director and actor and writer and director. So is IG-11 really gone? I thought he was in more scenes in the trailer. Are droids ever really gone, Pen? He's probably going to get patched up and repaired and sent back out again. Just a little more crazy this time than usual. That's usually what ends up happening. Yeah, that's so yeah, good stuff. Some fun stuff. Some silly stuff too that's in there, but yeah. If so, will he hold a grudge? Depends on how much of his memory is intact. We never will know until we watch some more episodes. So I believe there are 8 episodes. It's either 8 or 9 episodes of this. I think it's 8, if I remember correctly, and they're going to be released weekly, which is what I'm so digging. Yes, I would have binged the shit out of this. I probably would have called in sick to work today and had binged the entire thing. But I'm glad they're releasing it week by week, so I don't have to do that. So I wouldn't have done that. Yes. Uh, yeah, I loved how they animated IG-11 as well, with those awkward and deliberate movements, especially when he's shooting behind him too, and you got that weird elbow that kind of flips back, and you see him, and flips back forward, and the whole body twisting around, and the legs as well. They're twisted in the bottom. There's turning, and yeah, it's awesome. A documentary about gummy bears, possibly. Uh, Same here, Dennis. I just finished setting up my home theater projector and watched it on a massive screen. Nice. Yeah, I did too. I watched it on my 65-inch. But the only thing I didn't like about this is my Samsung does that stupid light dimming thing, and I thought I turned it off, but I don't think I did. And so when it goes dark, it kind of goes really dark. And I normally have the lights around this setting. I can dim my lights too, but I just was lazy last night and I didn't. So I was like, stupid TV. And then I didn't bother looking at it anymore to do it. I suffered through it. Then I watched it on my computer again for the second time to take my notes. Oh, yeah, it's 8 episodes. Okay, I kind of figured it was 8 episodes. Oh man. Yes, HR, that's what they were. That's what those teddy bears were in Rick and Morty. Yeah. Well, they were fascists, is what they were. They didn't say exactly what they were, but fascist. Yes, they were fascist teddy bears. All right, so yeah, go and watch this one if you haven't. Well, if you're watching this, you probably already watched it because I spoiled the shit out of it. So hopefully you watched it already and aren't sitting there with your mouth up and going, "You ruined it, you motherfucker," because you only got yourself to blame on that one. If you like what you see here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you're still on the fence about joining up, you're going to see at the very end a video pop up here. You're also going to see another video up here, which is going to be, I keep blanking on it. His Dark Materials is going to be up here. Up here is going to be something that picks from the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and plucks a video out of my library at random that matches that algorithm and pops it up there for you. If you want to know when I'm be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you because that's the way they are. If you've already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go into the bell settings again as many or as little notifications as you want. You can also go to my website, suspendedanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. And I also mirror it on my Facebook page. Also on Facebook, I have a Facebook group that you can log into, post stuff and talk amongst yourselves. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram. I also have a Patreon page, which I will have some stuff up at the end of this year, beginning of next year. I do have ideas for a couple of things. That's the reason why I haven't put Patreon in. I don't like charging, I don't like having a Patreon page up if I don't have anything there. So that's why I haven't done anything as of yet with that. What's the running time for The Mandalorian? It is 40 minutes, Joe Greer. I actually wrote that down, believe it or not. Yeah. It's exactly 40 minutes is where it's at. My biggest complaint is the 38-minute run time. What the hell? No, it was 40 minutes. That's fine. I was okay with the runtime on it, to tell you the truth. It works for me because normally I'm late on these things. I'm really hoping these things drop on Monday nights so that I can watch it Monday night and then I can watch it again on Tuesday. I usually like watching the episode twice so I can kind of get through it. Once so I can, enjoy it, and once so I can take my notes furiously. And I already know where I'm at. On my beats and stuff like that. It's just a matter of me having to pause, right, watch, pause, right, watch. Yeah. Sometimes it can be a little tedious, but hey, that's what you get. This is the end product. Yeah. Thank you, everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. And keep sending those dislikes to me for the Watchmen video. That's just, it's my opinion, man. I'm sorry. And no, I'm not sorry. It's my opinion. It's, I wouldn't have said it otherwise. Yeah. Joe says that's what your first tier should be. King Gorilla from Venture Brothers saying, fuck you, give me $1. There might be some other stuff I could put in there, but that's a good one, Joe. Yeah. Watchmen going that well. Yeah, Apple Crow. Right now, I believe I've got 14 dislikes on my last video. And there was one guy that just started this entire diatribe in my comment section. And as soon as I read, what was it? He wrote something like, don't listen to this tool. And I was like, delete. I was like, yeah, that's about as far as I want to go at this. I don't want to waste my time. Yeah. He was trying to tell me how stupid I was because I didn't know that the title was taken from some book and he goes, haven't you looked at the Reddit threads and haven't you done your homework and done all this extraneous reading, and you know, yeah, they are worse than the Rick and Morty fans. Apple Crow, they're getting there. The Rick and Morty fans are actually a lot worse than the Watchmen fans. The Watchmen fans are starting to come out of the woodwork a little bit, and yeah, but they're nowhere near the Rick and Morty fans. The Rick and Morty fans, no, I couldn't do. Because even if I was saying positive shit about Rick and Morty, you missed blah 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 blah. And it's like, fuck, yeah, I get it, man. I missed some stuff because I'm human, and yeah, I'm fallible. I don't get every single thing. I do this for fun, I'm not getting paid for it. I just do this for fun. Yeah, if you want professional shit, there's plenty of professional shit out there you can follow and watch and pay for. So I'm just not professional. That's all it is. Obviously not from all the F-bombs I dropped in this episode alone. Yeah, it is a lot. Pen. I know. It was 14. It's probably grown by now too. I want to see if there's any more. You had to look real long and hard to find that emoji. That's why I was waiting for you. I knew you were gonna come with a pickle, but yeah. So final rating on this episode. I got to see the next one to tell you the truth, but because for right now, this is sitting at a 7 for me, a 7 out of 10. It was good, but it was a slow burn. It was a slow burn, and the blurg scene did not help me at all. The blurg scene really kind of pissed me off, to tell you the truth. I don't know why. It really did. When I was watching this, I was like, these fucking blurgs. I think that's what's going to be on one of my t-shirts or something like that. Fuck those blurgs. Those fucking blurgs. Yeah. Let's just leave it there. So until I'm off tomorrow, I'm off on Thursday. Friday is going to be Titans. Saturday is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I talk about the genre news of the week and any of the genre stuff you guys want to talk about. Sunday, of course, is the aforementioned Mr. Robot and Watchmen. And then Monday, we come back around again to His Dark Materials. And Tuesday, of course, is The Mandalorian, like what you're watching here. Penn says, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I'd say 7.5. Nice. Yeah. And thank you. Yes, I love SBO. SBO is a lot of fun. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody who was, like I said, was here tonight in the chat. Thank you again to you watching out there that are watching the videos and subscribing. Thank you to all the new subscribers, by the way, too. Love that people are coming in. Come on into the chat sometime. You're more than welcome to come in and talk amongst ourselves, because we honestly, it's a great group of people that are in the chat. They're friendly, and they do like to talk to new people. Also in the comment sections too, keep it clean, keep it respectful as to, too, in the comment section. And I will see you again on Friday. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. And until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may have to do a comedic bit about riding a fucking blurg. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.